So we've been talking a lot about how nervous system health is related to many conditions that we experience. A lot of stress related things that relate to things like anxiety and depression, things related to chronic pain, cancer, digestive issues. And we've also been talking about specifically how the LUMNA formulation uses herbal medicines to provide a solution that works immediately and long-term, and how it's doing that using ingredients that work at a clinical level. So I am curious though, as our formulator, Dr. J, how about the way that LUMNA heals the nervous system do you find particularly exciting and different?
Well, I'm going to start with it. There's something else. There are a couple of things before we get to that I find particularly exciting about LUMNA in general. And the first is the novel therapeutic delivery method. This is something I've been interested in for a long time. And, I just can't tell you the number of times I hear patients tell me about their capsule fatigue, and they're taking fistfuls and fistfuls of capsules and supplements. They're so sick of it. They rebel. I do this, and there are things that I know I need to take. And eventually I burn out on them because I'm sick of taking all these capsules, and I rebel and I just stop taking them. And you could say the same thing about pills, although they're a little bit smaller, but still people get really sick of being dependent on pharmaceuticals. So the fact that this is an easy application, it's easy to incorporate into your life, and you don't have to take anything orally and have that capsule or pill fatigue. I think that's really exciting for me, and to still have a potent physiological effect and a noticeable effect on the mind, I think is really exciting. I'm always passionate about not having to be reliant on pharmaceuticals nor physician management, not having to go to the doctor all the time to have med checks and to do dose checks and to add more meds. Like, if this works for you, if this is something that works, then that's it. You don't have to rely on a doctor. Not to say don't have a relationship with a doctor. Obviously, I'm a physician, so I'm all for that. But if you can minimize it and you're not relying on them to prescribe this thing that you can't get without them, then I think that's exciting. Also, the fact we just talked about this, that it's non-habit forming or non-addictive, yet it's still effective. I think, and we know that there's been a really strong clinical signal that this is working through the research that we've been doing. So that's obviously very exciting. It works, but it's not habit forming. And then I think the thing that I know we're probably both the most excited about with our formulations is that the neuroplastogenic component. So the fact that a lot of the molecules contained in various phytomedicines that we included actually are able to directly facilitate repairing of damaged neurons of the entire nervous system, again, via these neuroplastogenic compounds. So that facilitates true change at the neurologic level. You're able to actually create new neural networks, create new neural pathways, and repair. It used to be thought that if somebody damaged a nerve, let's even just say a nerve in the foot or something, that it couldn't heal. Like, you can't heal it. It's just going to be like that. You're going to have numbness, tingling, or pain forever. Well, now we know that's not true. Nerves repair very, very, very slowly. The cellular turnover rate is very slow compared to something like an immune cell or a gut cell, something like that. So it does take time, but if you're diligent and if you're providing your body with what it needs, that's totally an antiquated belief that you can't change, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, or that you can't repair these nerves and it's just done. And neuroplastogens in general, I'm super excited about clinically in general, but the fact that we're able to deliver them topically and have an effect is really exciting for me.
Yeah. It's all really exciting. I think it's just so exciting whenever somebody calls us or, and just says that they literally just like woke up feeling amazing, which like went into their day and had effects throughout their whole day. Yeah. And I want to say that I think, with working with people with anxiety, I see that when you have anxiety, you're living in this way of thinking, right, for a very, very long time. Same with chronic pain. You've been feeling that for a long time. And when you go to certain, like, with Western medical practitioners who are limited in what they can offer and limited in their time and stuff like that, there is this thought and this thing that's transferred to you that this is just how it is and this is how it's always going to be. And when you have been living in that for a long time, you kind of believe that because you don't know that things can be different. And what I share with my clients and what they have experienced themselves is, for instance, instance, you know, when I went on my journey, when I was just having my anxiety was so bad, I couldn't live in it. I would have 90% like anxious thoughts, and I would have 10% calm, supportive thoughts. And after going through that process to really like work with my nervous system, work with rewiring my mind, like I would say now I have, you know, 90% happy, supportive thoughts and 10% anxious thoughts. And it's a natural way of living. And what I want people to know is that is available for them, you know? And I think that this neuroplasticity piece is such key, right? Because that's the key to permanently changing your brain, because those like thought highways are just naturally happening all the time. It's so hard to fight those thoughts if they're always coming up. And when you're starting to make that change, that noise is so loud and the direction is so strong that it's really, really, really hard. So I just feel really good and really proud. And I'm just so grateful to you for being a part of this, to create something that makes that easier for people to make that change in their life. And I think the other thing related to what you were saying is, you know, a big part of my journey, you know, I had anxiety as a child, is going to doctors who, you know, there's just this narrative that if you have these kinds of things, you're a mentally ill person. Something is wrong with you. You're a broken person. Your brain is broken. And when that's what the experts are telling you, you know, that becomes what you believe about yourself. And that becomes like what you can do in your life. And I really wanted to, and I personally, and I know you know this too, and you believe this too, feel like people who have a sensitive nervous system and have a predisposition to these things are incredible people with incredible gifts. You know, you're really empathetic, you have a hyper intelligence, you have this hyper sense of drive, you're so intuitive, you're so loving to people. There are all these really incredible superpowers that I prefer the conversation to be focused on, so that you can think about letting go of the things that are causing your anxiety so that you can be more of those superpowers. And a big thing for me, and I know for you, why we connected on this, is wanting to create something empowering. And I felt like pills, to a large effect, for many people, for me and for a lot of my clients, feels like you're treating an illness. Like every time you take it, you feel like a sick person who's taking medicine for being sick. And that's how the concept came up about doing something as a lotion, right? A part of a self-care ritual that you do every night, that doesn't take time out of your schedule, that feels empowering and self-caring and self-loving, versus this like illness, like association that you're pairing with yourself all the time. So such great points. And I'm excited for everyone to try it, and for it to support anyone who's looking for that support.
Agreed.